Hey, what's up, guys? Weekly Light here, and today I have another story mission for you and Pit People, and it's called Mount Olympus. Now, this is probably the longest mission in the entire game, so this video is a whopping 12 minutes and 48 seconds, so get some snacks. It's gonna be a long ride. So this is actually very interesting, as it changes up the standard formula of the missions. Usually it's just 2 battles, but this one is actually... It has some stealth sections, and then it has a really difficult battle, in my opinion. I actually thought this was the most difficult mission. I think this is the only one where I actually failed at one point, and it was in the Hall of Despair. I actually failed the Hall of Despair the first time through, and that was my only wipe in the entire story, so very sad that I couldn't make it through it deathless, but, you know, the Hall of Despair is called the Hall of Despair for a reason. So basically, now that you have the Rainbow Bridge, you're all ready to head up to Mount Olympus, and Yosef decides to go in by himself because, you know, he's just heading in. And so this is where the stealth portion starts. So there's a crowbar to your right here that you can grab, and that crowbar can be used to break that yellow grate up there, so you can get into the main lobby area. Yep, convenient crowbar. I wonder why they had a crowbar there. Also, I wonder what happens if you go through the purple gate. I didn't even try going through it, but who knows, maybe it would have summoned some alarms or something. But there's a lot I didn't get to try in this mission, but I don't really feel like looping through the story again to get back to this mission. But it does look like there's some interesting stuff. For example, there's that briefcase down there in the bottom left, if you see, that appears to have something in it. I'm not sure what that is. That it might be nothing, but then again, it's out of the way, so it might actually be something. If anyone knows what it is, please leave a comment down below, because it looks like in order to get that, you have to deal with the upper guy. So it seems like some extra stuff to get some extra reward. Reward? My bad. Slipping up. Anyway, so there's these weird face guys, and they'll capture you if they see you. I was never captured, so I'm not really sure what happens when you get caught, but I'm assuming it just makes you restart the level. These yellow bushes you can hide in, so that's always good. So it's like playing one of those classic stealth games. And you have a crowbar, so you need to click that button over there to the top right in order to deactivate the metal detector. These guys, they just go from position to position. Each one of them has 3 positions they go to, and it's a set pattern. If you look in that other room with the laser grid, there's some sort of capture or ghost person in there. So it's like the same thing that you see when someone dies. So I don't know, maybe that's your reward for getting to that briefcase. I'm not sure. Anyway, so you turn off the metal detector, and then you can head to it. And then just a short walk. And then you make it there, and then, yep, you realize you could just drop the crowbar, and you didn't need to worry about the metal detector. But anyway, it's good practice. Now you know you gotta click the buttons. And then you enter the second floor, which is a little more difficult, but not too hard. This floor is guarded by 3 gorgons, or no, they're gorgons. 3 snake head things, hydras, yeah, hydra heads. I'm not sure what happens when they see you, but the whole point of it is basically you just click the 3 buttons, turn off the 3 hydra heads, and you just waltz right to the end. You'll also see the kobold and the gnome in the far right, who got, I think, the ones who got caught earlier. And then this poor kobold here, he got stopped by the Cupid statue and gets lasered to death, so definitely don't, watch out for the lasers. Don't get hit by those. So there's a lot of these gold chests around. You can walk next to them in order to get some extra gold, but gold's, you know, not too useful in this game in all honesty. 7,000 to a new hero, but to get a new hero you can just head out and recruit someone. There's really nothing to spend the gold on, that's too useful. I guess what you could do I didn't try this. I just thought you had to click the 3 switches, but after clicking the 3 switches, I realized you might be able to do this. You could just hug the left side, and then take that springboard, and you might be able to jump over the 3 Hydra heads without having to deactivate all 3. I'm not sure. But anyway, I clicked all 3 buttons, and this room is really weird. It like bounces a tornado around, and you think you're safe, but I kept getting hit. I got hit like every single turn I was in there. But luckily I had enough health, and I could tank it out and make it to the end. And then up next was I went for the other top one, because I thought the bottom one was in a weird spot, so I didn't want to have to deal with that one. But actually the bottom one's the easiest one. I just couldn't see really well. I'm really bad at reading the isometrics, or the isometric layout of this room. Anyway, so you dodge 3 lasers, you turn off the second guy, you teleport back. I always wonder why you teleport to this like line over here. It's a weird location to teleport, but anyway, then you just head in here, you turn that off, and boom, all 3 are off, and the exit is open. So you can now leave real easily. You gotta watch out for this Cupid here, because if you get frozen on a spot that a laser shoots, you will get lasered to death. So I just took a safer route, and just got frozen on the middle one between the 2 things. And then you take the springboard, and it's like, did I even have to turn off those three guys? Because like, it seemed to have just launched me to the exit. I'm not sure what happens. Leave a comment in the comment section saying what happens if you don't turn off any of those 3, if you can actually get through. And so now you're on the 3rd floor, the Hall of Despair. Ooh. Anyway, so it's guarded by the Hall of Minotaur, and I made a separate video on getting through this, but you'll basically just see my solution to this room. There's probably like a couple billion solutions to solving this, but I found one. It's actually pretty easy. I was just really bad at reading where the lasers went. I thought the lasers hit everything, and you just had to make a mad dash, but I realized later that like half the room is safe spot, and you just have to actually watch out just for the Cupid statues. So I would sped up here because, you know, no one wants to see me thinking and like trying to figure out for like 80 seconds where to move next. Even at 3 times speed, it still looks really slow. Yeah, so I think that message was what was that message? Anyway, yeah, so this is just heading through once again, making my way through the Hall of Despair. Now this mission takes a really long time from save point to save point, so if you don't have a big time investment, I wouldn't recommend starting this mission up. Some people might get stuck on these puzzles, but very few probably. What people will probably get stuck on is the last battle. The last battle in this place is absolutely horribly, like, it's so hard. Like, it's a good fight, it's really well designed, and it has a cool mechanic behind it, but this fight is very difficult. Actually, this fight introduces maybe like 3 new mechanics. It's really cool. So you have the middle floor, which is destructible, right? Because it's, when the wind comes by, then some of the floor panels disappear in the middle. And you also have the jump pads, right? And so you can launch around the room. And then also you have the parachute mechanic, where you need to secure 6 parachutes so you can jump out. All 3 of these are new concepts, and are absolutely like amazing, because I think it really changes up the fighting style. Because now, instead of just like just mauling over people, you now have an objective. You gotta like micromanage like who gets a parachute, and if one guy already has a parachute, you can't give him another parachute. And also, I was thinking, oh, wouldn't an easy way to solve this be just let 5 of my guys die and then just get 1 parachute for the remaining guy? But as you'll see later, you definitely want to have some people remaining after this parachute phase, because there is another stage to the fight that is absolutely amazing also. This is probably one of my favorite fights, even though it's so difficult. I'd have to say all the fights in this expansion, or the full game, are like pretty interesting and really changed things up. Sadly, one thing I'm not a big fan of in this mission is we didn't get to see Gluten solve the riddle or whatever. Apparently, Gluten bested the Sphinx at a riddle, and I feel like that would have been cooler than having to stealth my way through. But anyway, stealthing's always fun, but I like riddles better. And basically, the enemies will keep spawning constantly. I've heard that you can kill everything and just leave the Hall Minotaur, and then you can actually capture him if you're a big fan of the Hall Minotaur. I'm not a big fan of the Hall Minotaur. He's sort of just like, he's just the regular Cyclops with the Minotaur head and a big axe. But it might be because I don't use Cyclopses very often. Anyway, so I'm just racking up parachutes, just trying to get up to 6. I think at one point one of my characters do die, so I only have to gather 5 parachutes. But it's really hard to manage all the enemies in this room. And then more enemies will spawn later, making it even more difficult. Usually in these fights you have the advantage number-wise, but in the story missions a lot of times you have the disadvantage number-wise, and it's actually a better idea to rush the objective. For example, in ones where you have to get to some place, it's always a good idea to have something with high mobility like a vampirist to skip to the end really quickly. While in the ones where you have to gather stuff like this one, it's always a good idea just to focus down 6, get your parachutes, and just run. Because if you try to take them all out and get them all lower one at a time, it's not really going to work and you're going to have a bad time because you'll have too many parachutes. Like here at the end, I have a surplus of parachutes. So then this guy comes up and he blocks the hole with his head. How perfect, right? It's a circular head in a hexagonal hole. Anyway, so now your escape route is blocked. Oh, whatever shall you do? Well, you can just beat him up. And luckily I have 2 pixies, and 2 pixies are like DPS machines on this guy. Because this guy's head is so massive that all 7 shots from the pixie, like, because it's 1 shot with 6 around it, like all 7 tiles of damage will hit this guy. So pretty much, look at that. I like 3-shot him. Oh my god, it only took 3 hits from the pixies to bring him down. So now the hole is open and I can escape. Look at that. It's like pixies feel so cheap because of how much damage they can do. But that's what I love about them. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe for more Pit People content. If you haven't yet, please subscribe as I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers.